In this video, we walk down a steep hill, Napoleon wags his tail, and I try to solve the number one viewer complaint on this channel, the noisy autopilot. Not with tools, but with technology. So here's the intro without noise cancelling technology. So I'm leaving La Vista, which has been a great storm hideaway. And here it is with AI magic. So I'm leaving La Vista, which has been a great storm hideaway. It's a few extra steps, so let me know in the comments if you think it's worthwhile. And I'm going to Badia, which is where they've got the deer again. The reason I'm going there is because I want to go see Croatia town, and I've got 2 good days of weather. And then, well, I've got a good day today and I've got a good day tomorrow, but tomorrow night I need to be in an anchorage that's safe from a southeaster. We've got a very strong southeaster coming yet again. And there's I've got an anchorage just a little bit further on, which I think I could go to. This one would be great, but I can't fetch canvas from this one because there's no bus service or anything to get you, except really expensive taxis. So if I'm at the anchorage on the island, at least there's a ferry to the island, and it looks like the strong southeaster ends midday, and then I can take the boat closer to Croatia and fetch it from there. Batteries are full. I've got about 750 watts into each motor, so 1500 watts. Virtually zero wind, and I'm doing 4.2, 4.3 knots, which is quite a nice speed for this amount of power, actually. And a lovely day. Finally. 2 lovely days coming up. It's been pretty bad. Still got a storm out there. You can see some rain in the distance. Doesn't look like a thunderstorm. But there is some rain there, but it should dry up and clear up like the rest of the day. So the storm in the distance is getting bigger. I keep an eye on Windy's radar and I see how many decibels the storm is, so I can tell if it's growing or shrinking, or at least getting stronger or weaker. It was at 52 decibels, now it's at about 50 decibels, so I think it's losing power. And it's 30 kilometers away, nothing to worry about yet, but it is heading in this direction, and it looks like it would be about 2 hours for it to get here. In 2 hours I also reach my destination, and I think by then it's also going to have weakened a lot, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. Stormwatch update. There's one cell on the right which is still dumping rain, but the big one, the one that was worrying me, is moving across the left over there. It's going to go south of us, I think. This one over here isn't very strong, so if it does get you, I think we'll be okay. But it's doing nicely. We are hurrying along with just 700 watts on each motor because the sun disappeared for a while, and I wanted to keep the battery for the storm, just in case it needed a bit of power to push against or run away from or something like that. But we are doing over 4 knots, so 4.2, 4.3, 4.4 knots on 700 watts in each motor is pretty efficient running, I think. And you can see our destination in the distance of there. Well, actually not the town. We're going to go past the town to the monastery just on the other side. In terms of the storm, it hasn't died off, but it is still going south. But it's left a lot of cloud over us now, so we're no longer charging, we're not draining the battery, but we've only got a few miles to go, so there's really no concern at all. In fact, I think we'll arrive with like an 80% battery or so, and then the sun comes out after this storm passes, and it looks like it's a sunny afternoon. And the rain has caught up with us, which is no fun because I've got to go forward soon and release the anchor. Destination is just through there. I've actually also got to slow down a bit because they've got a 4-knot speed limit and I'm doing 4.5 knots. And it is a €300 fine. I don't know how strict they are, but I don't want to take any chances. So half a knot. So there we are, parked at what is one of my favorite anchorages at the moment, just outside the monastery. And tomorrow morning I'm going to go for a walk around there again and see if I can see some nice deer. A very early start leaving this monastery because on Tuesday night and Wednesday is a very big storm, and I want to get into a very protected bay by tonight if all possible. And I've got about 30 miles to do, 30 nautical miles, so it's a long day. Let's see how it goes. And a nice early morning look at Korčula. The walled city itself is actually really fantastic. When I got to the old town, I thought was the old town was that bit over there, and then you go through like a castle drawbridge almost, and then you get to the real old town, and that was lovely. One of my favourites. I think this outranks Rovani for me. It's smaller, it's a lot cuter. You don't have all of the big shops, etc., but it wasn't as super busy as it was when I was in Rovani, and it's much more compact and tight, and it feels like a medieval town should. Very pretty grey catamaran going to be passing me quite soon. They've got the sails up, but I'd be very impressed if we're sailing. I've got the wind at about 8 knots in 20 degrees or 18 degrees it looks like, so there's no chance. Okay, I can see the water pouring out the side, so I'm motor sailing. Maybe they're hoping the wind improves later. And then further behind is another sailboat, and they're also just motoring. No wind for sailing at the moment. Every single prediction was for wind to be coming from the east very lightly, and I've got 8 knots coming from the west, which is not helping very much. Now, one thing I have noticed is that charter boats are generally pretty fast. I mean, you can see this guy's overtaking me quite quickly, but I've noticed that the liveaboards tend to drive their boats much slower. They seem to do 4 knots max. Very, very rarely do they motor at 5 knots. And I think it's just because the charter boats, I mean, they're there for a short period of time. Fuel burn doesn't really mean much to them. And wear and tear on the engine means nothing to them. Whereas the charter boats, the liveaboards, all seem to know their engines very well. And some of them say, no, it sounds like I'm stressing it too much when I go too fast. So I tend to go the same speed as most of the liveaboard boats, which is quite nice. 500 watts on each motor into a 8 knot headwind is just 3.1 knots, and I've got 24 and a half miles to go, and it's just going on 11 o'clock, which means I've got about 8 hours to go, and that puts me at 7 p.m. for an arrival, and 7 p.m. is dark, so it's not a good idea. So I need to cut an hour somehow, somewhere. My options are to try and speed up a little bit later. At the moment, I'm charging my batteries at about 500 watts. So when the batteries are full, I can use those 500 watts for propulsion. There's also another spot I can stop just about an hour away, which might actually be a better option. And if I can't increase the speed a bit. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on the solar. I'm going to keep my boom sort of poled in the right direction to make sure I've got no shading. The sun will come up even higher, and I will get much more charging power. At the moment, I've got about 1600 watts coming in. So as soon as I get more power and the batteries charge fully, I'm just going to use all of that speed available. In a perfect world, the wind would turn around like they're supposed to do, or even come from the side, and I'd be able to get the sails off. But yeah, it's not a perfect world. Med means motoring every day, and that's what I'm doing today. Things I hate seeing on the horizon. Speedboats. Not as much as thunderstorms, but speedboats are always uncomfortable when they come past you. And when you see a big white frost going out both sides, you know that there's going to be a big wake coming. So then you go and get behind the steering so I can steer into the wake or out of the wake to somewhere, just not side on the wheel. Alright, so the motors haven't changed at all. Still get 500 watts into each motor, a kilowatt going to the motors. Wind hasn't changed at all. Still got 7 knots on the nose. But my speed has improved, and all I can think of is that channel must have a current going into it. A couple of days ago when I was going down the channel, I noticed I was going a little bit faster than I'd usually go. And coming out this way, of course I should be going a little bit faster, even given the wind conditions and that. So now I'm doing 3.3, 3.4 knots, and 3.5 even. That means 2 hours up at 7. I might be able to get there in about 6.5 hours at the speed, but I still think I'll be able to speed up a little bit. There is some light wispy cloud blocking some of the sun, but it's not terribly bad. I still think I'll get solar panels So fully charge the batteries soon, and then I can increase the speed just a little bit more, hopefully get to 4 and a bit knots. Well, puts me at 6 p.m., which is a lot better than it was a little while ago when it was 7 p.m. 6 p.m. is still light, so that works quite well for me. So it is now 11:51 and my batteries are full. Yay! So what I'm going to do is open my phone on my battery monitor and I'll stick the controllers up here and I'll just accelerate until I'm not draining the battery or not, well, I can't charge at the moment, it will be full. But yeah, just so I'm not draining the battery, and hopefully that will give me an extra, even half a knot would be brilliant. In terms of speed now, I've got 4 knots going in, just over 4 knots sometimes. And I've set the motors to 850 watts each, so 1.7 kilowatts of power. And should be able to do the speed for a while, which is going to make my trip much, much shorter. And that'll mean I'll arrive at my destination daytime, which is much better and much safer, so I'm quite happy with that. There's more good news. The wind has almost entirely died down. And that means I'm doing 4 knots, 4.1 knots on 1500 watts of power, which is pretty good going. That's what I should be doing at this sort of power level. Not bad at all. Let's hope it stays like this, or even if I get a bit of a tailwind, that'd be really nice. Alright, so I have reached the halfway points. I probably just passed my halfway point. I've done about 15 and a half miles of the 14 miles to go. I can finally see my destination on the GPS. And at the moment I've got, what have I got? I've got about 1,400 watts going into the motor, 1,500 watts coming from solar, 100 watts going to my Starlink and the fridge. So this is the speed I'm doing, which is about 3.7 knots. So it should be about 4 hours from here. And that puts me at 5:42, which is nice. Sunset is just after 6, so 5:42 will be nice and light. And I'll see what's going. The wind has been completely dead for quite some time, which is very nice. I love it when the water gets this glassy look. Niles has decided he wants to come sit in the sun. Hi, Niles. Are we happy over there? And Napoleon hasn't moved. He's been sleeping all day long. Very cute little bird. Okay, so a quick change of plans. I spoke to the lady who was at the mooring ball field, which was my backup plan. And she said all but 2 of those boys were full. So the chances of having one of the boys in town itself being available is almost 0. So I'm going to the backup field. Hopefully I can get one of the last 2 balls. It's 1 hour away, so it's an hour shorter than I need it to be. And that means I'll be there at 5 o'clock. Just have to hope that it's empty. If not, I've made another backup plan of booking the marina. And that's 100 euros a night. So I'm not sure I want to do that. But it is there as an option. Luxus forces. So up ahead is quite a shallow route between these 2 islands of here. Should be minimum 2 meters deep at any point. So it shouldn't be a problem for my little catamaran. But it is quite narrow, so you have to concentrate a lot. Interestingly, there's so many boats around here. I wonder if it's a good place to fish or a good place to swim, or if there's a fishing competition on. Certainly a lot of boats in here. Right, here's the narrow passage. Of course, there's if you can see the little red ring over there, there's an obstacle right in the middle of it as well. So I'll turn a little bit to the left of that obstacle. And when my map colors in the ground, it means it's very shallow. It looks like the middle is about 4 meters deep, but I need to go just to the left of the obstacle and the rocks and whatever else that is. And I suspect it's going to be about 2 meters deep. So I won't be filming this, and hopefully all goes smoothly. Okay, and after 28 miles, I made it to my backup mooring field. I got the second last ball. The last ball is out in that direction, but it's basically between the gap between those 2 islands. So I want it to be a little bit further back into that gap there's a little bit smaller from me. But otherwise fairly good protection. So we've got protection most of the way around. Southeast is pretty much where I'm facing at the moment. Unfortunately there's a low spot, but just behind it there's another big hill. So hopefully that'll take some of the brunt of the force off. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. And yeah, just the two little entrances that are open, that one there and that one there. So that's where we're going to be for the night. Now it's time to get these guys to the beach. Who wants to go for a walk? Niles, do you want to go for a walk? He's tired. It's been a long day. It's been a very, very long day. So there's the boat out there. I think it's facing southeast at the moment, so I'll get protection from that hill. And this direction is very interesting because, let me zoom out a bit. There's the bay I'm in, and there's the next bay, and basically that's just this road separating the two. So these houses are almost on their own island, just been joined by some land. But yeah, hopefully the wind doesn't come from this way, and hopefully the wind doesn't come from where those other two gaps are. And again, we've got quite a beautiful sunset, and the camera doesn't show it off. It's very pretty. It's blowing 20 odd knots out there, obviously from straight in front of our boat. And we've got a couple of boats that are really struggling to catch mooring balls. This monohull must have tried about 4 times. They tried forward, they tried sideways, they're trying backwards now, which is probably a good idea, actually. You can steer to the back of the boat, you can get nice and low to the mooring ball. My lasso technique was flawless yesterday. There was a lot less wind, but it's worked in strong wind as well. As long as you can throw a lasso, well, as long as you can throw that loop of a line over, it makes life very, very easy. The problem is when you try and grab the boats, grab the buoy with a boat hook, is you simply just don't have enough power to hold onto the boat hook if you don't get that line through very quickly. Single-handed, it's virtually impossible. You're not going to do it. You've got the boat hook in one hand, and as soon as it pulls away, you either drop the boat hook into the water, or you drop the line and don't get it around the buoy in time. But yeah, these are challenging conditions for anyone, so you do need to have a good practice technique for it. I think they've got it. It looks like they've got it. And these guys, I can't tell if they've got it yet at the moment. It's not the orange thing behind them, that's one of their buoy fenders. But let's see. They've got 2 dinghies. They've got the big dinghy as well, so they should actually just be using the big dinghy to go and take a line around quickly and take it back to the boat so they can be locked in place. Yeah, judging by their engine movements, boat movements, they haven't caught it yet. So let's see. Alright, let's see how this cat does it now. So they're obviously aiming for that buoy over there where their second tender is. Got the guy on the boat, so all he needs to do is get a line and throw it back. It should be really easy when you've got that in place. Okay, throw the line to the boat. There we go. He's got it. Okay, get it through very quickly. So what they could have done is had a slip knot and just thrown it underneath and had slipped quickly. Then they got all the time in the world. But it looks like they're going for the right way, or for the long way, which is putting the line through the ring and getting it back to the boat. Should be a piece of cake with 2 boats in place. I can see the monohull over here has got it on the side. Now they need to walk it to the front. I'd love to be filming this with a drone, but it's too windy for a drone at the moment, so I definitely can't do that. So what they need to be careful of now is that the wind doesn't blow them over the mooring ball and get those lines hooked in the prop. So hopefully they've still got somebody on the motor who'll reverse the boat quite quickly. Yep, I think they're on, and I think the big catamaran is on as well. And I'll see if I can film any more antics later today. Alright, so here's a boat trying the reversing trick. See, this is going quite well. The reversing works very, very well. Looking good. Nice and slow. The nice thing is the front of the boat can't really be blown off course because it's already downwind of the prop. So that was very, very nicely done. Excellent work, guys. The boat is swinging in the wind. But yeah, now they've got it. They can tie it on and take the lines to the front. I spoke to you soon. They've dropped it. Right, catamaran coming to tie up to a ball. Let's see how that does. It's a long way from that trampoline down to that ball. You can't reach it. Oops, now they've gone over the ball. Now they're going to... that's going to be a good question. What are they going to do now? I'm going to find a good place to put the phone to record this. Right, so now the ball's going to pop out. There we go, popped out. Now, in their defense, it is monstrously gusty out there. I was measuring 21 knots average, 30 knots peak, and I've got a very small mast, so the wind is actually stronger than my mast is measuring, I believe. Found a nice high point. You can see Electra at the back there. And gusts absolutely blasting on the water there. You can see the patches where they hit the water. Yeah, can't really see it on the camera, can you? There you go. It's howling, howling, howling. Anyway, let's keep walking the dogs. Feel the full effects of that wind. Oh, it's strong. It's pushing me over. And I've got a little bit of land protecting me from it. It's madness out here. There's a catamaran that's as strong as a dock. They've now left. Where they're going. Oh. I would not want to be out in the water today. So I took the dogs for a walk and we went to climb this island which is next to where we're anchored, and it turns out that this island and the anchorage we're in dates back to the 6th century BC, sorry, AD, and it was always a fort for the people that lived here, and there's a church here now. It's the Church of St. John, and this one is from the 15th century, but it's the original that was built here was from the 6th century as well. Very interesting. Dying to pull that rope to ring the bell. You can see the waves breaking on the shore across that little island over there. And this isn't even a long fetch. It's howling. I see a little boat in the water over there. There we go. Motoring into this wind. Hopefully they get through to either the port or one of the anchorages quite soon, because it's predicted to get a little bit stronger over the course of the night. Remember that calm little gap I was standing in yesterday? It's not so calm. The gusts are pretty regularly going over 30, and these two monohulls, the one in front of me and the one to my right, are dancing around in the wind and heeling and not looking good. Oh, nice big heel over there, and now they sail the other way. I think they're just basically sailing under bare poles. Good morning, and yeah, we made it through the storms. I saw 40 knots at some point, so I had to actually make some modifications to my boat. during the day because of how windy it was. So I put these support straps from some Dyneema attached to some strong points. And the solar panel there, back there, and on the other side. So these solar panels were flapping in the wind, and it was boring me a little bit. So they flapped less with the support straps in place. So I think that was a good thing to do. The wind died down completely during the night, and then it flipped to a southwest. And in a southwesterly direction, I've got this gap between the islands, so it came through with quite a bit of swell, and that woke me up nice and early. So yeah. Anyway, I need to go around the corner and in that direction to get to Vela Luca, and I think I'll do it soon because it's a bit too rocky and rolly to get the dinghy to the beach. These swells are quite intense. See that boat? It's also driving into them. They're smaller here than they were just now, which is fortunate because I was a bit close to the rocks with very big swells on the side. So we're in Vela Luca. We've actually been here for a couple of days. Weather's been relatively bad. Looks like tomorrow is the big day for our big crossing where we're going to go to Italy. But Vela Luca has been quite pleasant. Aside from the 30 knot wind, which is why I made these supports for the solar panel. I've got 3 of them, just so that it doesn't push backwards too much. Nice Dyneema supports are quite strong, and it worked quite well. Nice enough town. It's very cute. People are very friendly. It seems the further south you go, the more English they speak, which I think helps a lot. And we've enjoyed our stay. This is the cheapest mooring ball we've ever had. These are 19 euros. We're the only boats at the moment. There was another boat, but he's left. He was parked over there. And in fact, you can stay on the town pier as well for 19 euros if you don't use water and electricity. And I mean, we could sell electricity with all our solar panels. So yeah, very, very cost effective. They do keep saying, is your boat 9 meters or 10 meters? And we are registered as 9 meters. That's why we only pay 19 euros, which is a very, very good deal. No anchoring allowed in here, of course. So that's why we have to be on the mooring ball. That building over there is the school. And over there is the town hall. And then just below it, you won't be able to see it, is the oldest church, which I think I filmed already, from the 1500s. Very, very cool. And then up in the hills, in that direction, there's quite a large cage. I think it's a cave. I think it's 1,500 square meters. And it's one of the great archaeological sites of the area. Yeah, it's another hill climb. We're still going higher. Walk down there. So if you've ever seen The Never-Ending Story, there's a turtle that is actually an island. I think I found it. You can just see the body and the head sticking out over there. You can't show how steep it is on a video, but I mean, you're like, what, 10 meters away from me and 5 meters lower than me. No, maybe about 2 or 3 meters lower than me. I mean, that's level. Let me hold the camera level.
Darling, can you come hold the podium? It doesn't really pull the...
Alright. Hey darling.
Hi sweetheart.
What is up today?
I'm just making a little bit of a breakfast.
Nice. So somebody was asking us how we deal with doctors and vets and stuff. What happened?
In general, we found it a little bit more cost effective than in South Africa. I was actually the reason I'm making breakfast is I've been on an antibiotic. So I had to go see a local doctor. I got a recommendation from the pharmacy, went to a doctor, and it was a very pleasant experience. Really friendly service, very fast, exceptionally clean, really professional. And the cost really shocked me.
Oh no.
It was €1.50. I do have my EU medical card because I am registered as a Portuguese citizen, so it was that. And then in general, we've experienced like really, really lovely vets. We've had to take our dogs are getting older. You're 12 years old, little boy. And yeah, we've had to take our boys to the vets a few times. We had I'm talking to you. We had to have their teeth cleaned. And it was a little bit more cost effective than in South Africa. But if I compare it to the cost of living in South Africa versus here, I would say it's really good.
In the next video, we do our first overnight crossing on our solar-powered boat, a 76-mile hop from Croatia to Italy. Thanks for watching.
It is still quite swelly.